I wrote a book, which I have a copy of here,
Oh, I see.
called Apartment Buildings That Outperform. And I dedicated it to my grandfather. Sorry, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm John and welcome to our podcast series here at SyncApps by Cazoomi. For the information of everyone, just want to highlight that SyncApps is our product and Cazoomi is our brand. So interesting day today as we have our virtual guest, Chris Davies, which is a commercial real estate associate, a real estate investor, an online marketing consultant, and a musician based in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, who's been in the business for 15 years in the property management field, who shares tips and tools for investors. So how are you today, Chris?
I'm good. It's just cold here in Canada right now.
Really? I'm based here in the Philippines, so yeah, we have this climate now, which is humid right now here. Yeah. So again, Chris, thank you for joining us here today. It's a great opportunity to listen a little bit to your success life story, and also for our viewers and subscribers who get some ideas and knowledge. But maybe let's just go back in time, Chris. I was able to read your blog, and I was very amazed, Chris. And also, I think it's better for you to share about Chris from your younger life up to now that you are successful. And can you tell us about that and how you got started?
Yeah, definitely. My family has lived in this part of Canada for, I don't know, 150 years or something like that. And so my grandfather, several generations ago anyways, started buying real estate here. And that, through the late 70s, early 80s, morphed into a property management company taking care of other people's real estate. I was born in 1982. So from the time I was born, I literally grew up, surrounded by tools and paperwork and rent and other people's toilets. And I'm the one kid in the family that never really got away from it. My whole life been stuck in it. And I've turned that into a successful business. But I've also bought some of my own property, first in 2008. And so I own a handful of houses or townhouses. I own an apartment building. And more, my business has changed from helping people manage and online marketing to I spend the vast majority of my time right now helping people sell apartment buildings. So our smallest asset that we sell is probably $1 million. And I think the largest one we've done in the last couple of years has been somewhere around the $10 million mark. So
Well, I see.
small to mid market for most North American real estate brokers, but we focus exclusively on these types of apartment and multifamily investments, which relies a lot on our experience and our relationships from like my family growing up.
Yeah, I see. That's very interesting, Chris. So how does it feel to grow up in generation that from your grandparents up to you now that you're into this type of industry? So how do you handle yourself like that, Chris?
Oh, it's highly entertaining. My business partner and my wife, both are, we can't drive anywhere without me saying, oh, I know that building. That was this guy and this story or this, dead body or whatever the weird story we have from the past is. I wrote a book, which I have a copy of here,
Oh, I see.
called Apartment Buildings That Outperform. And I dedicated it to my grandfather. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I see. That's great.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
the author of that book.
Yeah. Which you
So
can find on Amazon.
I see. So basically, what's just give us about what's the content of that book?
Yeah, it's related to what I was just about to say. And your original question. I appreciate my parents. So my dad was a carpenter and a property manager. My mom is an accountant. My grandfather was an engineer, and my grandfather's passed. But I appreciate what I've learned from them about buildings and how to run them. So really what we talk about here is how to kind of define the niche that you want to operate in, and then, how to find and acquire buildings, effectively, how to run them and optimize them, and how to prepare them for sale or whatever happens next. And I very strongly believe that, effective developers, real estate investors, landlords, or even software developers, you develop a niche.
I'm just a bit curious, Chris, about do you give yourself a monthly target about this would be the exact figure that I would sell this property, or you just let it
Oh,
by?
totally.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, everything in my world is very much data centric.
I see.
It's all sales tar. I mean, it's all just sales. I mean, whether I'm selling, water bottles or selling apartment buildings, it's all the same thing. And so I keep. I'm wondering if I've got a handy copy. I mean, I keep a paper record, and
Mm,
I keep information in Salesforce, which is my CRM. But I know very clearly a lot of my work's on the phone, and then all the follow up is by email. So this many dials, this many connections, this many meetings, this many listings. If I do all these things, I'll make $1 million or whatever the target is. So we all have very clear, very clear targets for activities and very clear goals.
yeah, cool to hear that, Chris. Then how's the um what you call this one, real estate industry business doing right now during the time of pandemic?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there have been two areas that have done incredibly well during the pandemic. Industrial real estate, and in most North American contexts anyways. Industrial real estate, because we're buying all our crap on Amazon. And so that part of warehousing and logistics and shipping has done very well. And multifamily, because no matter what happened with your work, people still had to live somewhere. Most of us are working from home, obviously, right now. And so people have had to make very significant housing choices. So we've had both, everyone kept paying their rent here anyways, and we've had tenants who needed to move up to get more space, and to use their properties differently. So, 2021, our gross sales was up 40% over the year before.
Oh,
In
really?
2020, we sailed through like totally unscathed, and I had another full-time job. So things have been performing incredibly well. Really, it's part of the reason why we had to get all of our shit together, get
I
all
see, I
my
see.
CRM and email marketing and things working at the same time, which is really why I ended up reaching out to you guys to help fix a couple of the problems. But
Yeah, yeah.
commercial real estate has been very, very busy. And there are a bunch of big macroeconomic trends of why people are looking for investments that actually have some return, which
Ah,
apartment buildings very much do.
yeah, yeah. I see that, Chris. Yeah. So in 15 years in the real estate industry, Chris. So how long have you been using integration solutions?
We've messed with a lot of different things. I want to say I got licensed for selling apartment buildings in 2010. Before that, I was working in other capacities. Um, I started using Salesforce through a vendor called Apto almost right away.
Yeah.
And we've used a series of different manual tools. We'd use their automatic, like their bulk uploader, using virtual assistants to help format the data. We've tried using through the app exchange some third-party, the real integration problem we have. Salesforce is wonderful at a lot of things. It's not very good when it comes to email. So
I
other
see.
tools like Aweber, we use Mailchimp, but I also like Constant Contact in Aweber. The two don't talk, and we've tried probably 3 or 4 different apps to make the two talk together, or to import, building or ownership data. And we've either had, like with one of our appraisal databases, we had to code a custom API to move the data back and forth.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just not possible when you're talking about Mailchimp or Constant Contact.
Exactly.
But no one was able to, I mean, as a for sure we're about to get into in a minute, those are all very kind of brute force tools. They will move your whole list
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of one direction only. They don't do a lot of, what I would call elegant
I
connection of
see.
data. So yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So, Chris, I think this would be a great video for our viewers right now. That for those Apto users, as what you mentioned a while ago. So, how did this help you? I mean, sold the units or apartments complex or gain more leads?
Absolutely. So the primary thing about my vision for marketing, and you mentioned I worked as in marketing as a technical SEO, search engine optimization guy, web analytics, and a little bit of social media back in like 2007, 2010. So that kind of early Great Recession timeframe. I'm very much about providing my clients with information or properties which are very directly relevant to them. So if you've come to me and asked for a 10-unit apartment building just in the White Circle, I'm not going to send you a 50-unit building up here. I need to make sure that I'm sending the right type of property to the right type of people. So within Salesforce, everybody gets coded into different buckets. Do you want something right in Edmonton or something outside of Edmonton or something way up north? That's really fun with the camera. And do you want small, medium, large? Do you want stuff that's brand new? Do you want stuff you can fix up? And I need to, slice and dice. So when I get a particular listing that comes to me that might be just outside of town and 20 units, I want to be able to generate an email list which is focused just on that. And quite often, like if it's a good deal, I want a very small list of my A-class buyers, because every buyer gets a class A, B, C, or F.
Yeah.
And so I want to send a small email out to the top 20 people. And then I want to send a bigger email out to everybody who likes that area. And then eventually I send it out to everybody. Well, that's 3 different email blasts, 3 different subsegments. So everybody's got these tags, and putting them all together took a long time till we figured out that in Salesforce, we can use the list view to create, whatever, a dozen lists for small, medium, large, for A-class buyers or C-class buyers. And it wasn't until we started using SyncApps that we could suddenly just select the lists and poof, it was in Mailchimp. And it's so much, cutting to the chase a little bit, but
exactly,
it's so much simpler.
Exactly, because it's part of the feature of in SyncApps, as what you've mentioned a while ago, that your potential buyers have this category, right? The A, B, C, D.
Mm-hmm.
So which of this category, Chris, dominates the sale?
I believe in the 80-20 rule. I think that the A-class people tend to do the bulk of our sales.
Wow.
But when I think about the different people that are in that category, it's not like they work their way up from C's to B's to A's. They were quite often in there as a C, and then they come to the market and they just do a bunch of deals, and now poof, they're in A. And the other thing about those A-type people that was really in my mind when I didn't want to just dump everybody into one email list. Some of my clients literally own $1 billion in real estate. I'm not going to just email him random crap all the time. I need to be very careful about that individual.
Exactly. So I get your point there, man.
It's like all good. It's all good. Marketing is, it's not about what I want to say to them. It's what they want to hear. So it's making sure I can be very elegant about how I touch people and when.
That's great to hear, Chris. Based on the survey that we had here, I think 2 hours a week and 13 days each year, probably. So wasted by doing manual data works. So in your end, Chris, an average, how much did you save and how many leads do you manage through automation?
That's a terrific question. I was lucky that I had good assistants and I had outsourced some of this to people, either, domestic folk or virtual assistants. I would definitely agree with the 1 to 2 hours a week. And it's probably let me in a total database that's probably 3,000 or 5,000 people, it's let me scrub several hundred. One of the things I didn't mention that I love is when someone unsubscribes. This works at 2 levels. When someone unsubscribes on the Mailchimp side, I don't have to scrub them from the Salesforce database, but I get notified of it in a way that lets me see, is this one of those $1 billion guys who just doesn't want to see my little emails, but still get phone calls? Lets me be more sensitive that way. We run our A and B leads are about 400 people.
Oh,
and it lets me manage them kind of very elegantly and keep that rotating through. So we don't really try and do it's about 100 A people and about 300 B people. And that's really the max that we can effectively service when we're doing things like phone calls without growing the team.
I see that. That's great to hear again, Chris. Using Apto and Mailchimp, Chris, or let's say, for example, constant contact, right? You're also using. What benefit did you get from this into your business?
Definitely. It's aside from it's a lot easier for me to outsource these types of basic email creation tools when it's just it's just default Mailchimp. There's a standard audience, and then whoever is handling that market channel, I'm able to set up, here's what the different audiences look like, and just set it and forget it, and it'll keep syncing. I don't have to go back and fix it every time I add new people. The Mailchimp side is just so much easier than trying to do group emails or list emails through Salesforce, where you get terrible delivery rates, or trying to export a list into Google or like into my Gmail account and just blind carbon copy everyone. When we do it with Mailchimp, we're able to use all the rich HTML formatting things. We don't even use all the drip and the other functions they have yet, but it's just so much simpler. When I get a new listing, we can just, the audience is automatically updated with new people. We just copy it, change the formatting, change the picture and the attachment, and poof, it's out. Like, we've gone from spending an hour or two on an email to about 15 minutes to get an email out.
How about how does SyncApps play a major role in your organization?
I think, it's kind of the big tool that we don't notice anymore. I mean, like, I realized in getting ready for this call, I was like, I bet you I haven't logged in 3-4 weeks.
I see.
Because it just does it. I mean, once I've set it up, I'm more conscious about right now making sure that we've got the right lists in Salesforce and they're getting brought through to Mailchimp.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Like that, once it's up and running, you really don't notice what's going on. It's just doing its thing in the background.
Exactly.
I just noticed that when I send out an email blast to the list, the new guy I talked to last week replies right away, and I didn't have to think about adding him the way I did like 6 months ago.
I see, Chris. Yeah, that's great to hear, Chris. I think it's a positive feedback from you to us. So such a pleasure, Chris. So anyways, Chris, how about if you're going to using Apto and Mailchimp, would you still integrate again, or will you choose another solution? And would you recommend this integration to other who's in the real estate industry like you? Just want to get some ideas about you about that.
Yeah, no, it's very good. And I, like within the industry, I mean, because I have a blog and I have these, I'm relatively visible. I get a lot of questions from brokers and other companies and things. I love Salesforce. So if somebody was going to live in this Salesforce Apto type of ecosystem again, and had some, like a larger firm, had some bench strength on the technical side, 100%. I think the way that I run it works excellently. Your guys' tool, and even the support, where we got it all, like we had a couple things where like things weren't syncing the right way and I didn't have time. You guys just killed it. Your tech support was amazing. If someone's going to run at this kind of Ferrari level of CRM, and they've got the most important part, real estate brokers are like dinosaurs. Most of them are old. If they're actually going to use the software, it's completely worthwhile.
Exactly.
I have, however, especially I have a real estate coach right now that gets me to actually like keep track of my numbers on a piece of paper. Like, there you go. It's a weekly call tracker with little tick marks.
Oh, I see.
So
I
I'm
see
going
that, yeah.
like hardcore analog and hardcore digital. If you're going to go the whole 9 yards and do the Ferrari and do Salesforce, absolutely. I would do Apto with Mailchimp, probably Mailchimp more than the other tools, and use your guys' tool to connect the two because it's so flexible. And then on the flip side, if you're a small shop or you're a brokerage that's mostly older people, I would probably opt for one of the really simple integrated tools, something more like Keep/Infusionsoft, or, I mean, there are a couple other smaller, simpler CRMs, because if people don't use the tool, they'll never use it. I mean, I used to help a couple other developers. I would use Airtable, which is like Microsoft Access in the cloud.
Yeah.
Or you could even run it just within a tool like Mailchimp. It has enough CRM-like abilities to keep track of your people. It just doesn't do a good job keeping track of your building database.
Yeah. That's fantastic, Chris. Yeah. That's great to hear, Chris. Again, it's a positive feedback from you to us. And yeah, thank you for that. What we talked about today was fantastic. It was a pleasure chatting with you today. We've learned a lot from you, Chris. Absolutely. I'm sure our Apto and Mailchimp users also will agree about that, Chris. And we look forward to have you on our podcast series again. If you, yeah, thank you for that, Chris. And as you guys bring on more automation, Chris, we look forward to support and work with you. And again, guys, to our viewers, if you want to use some of the tips of Chris on, that was presented in this interview, don't forget to bookmark the video and share it to your friends. So again, Chris, thank you for that. And so if you guys using Apto and Mailchimp, please comment down below for more suggestions, as this would be the best video for you to watch. And again, Chris, it's a good news also that we have already rolled out the newest automation report for 2022. And for more updates, visit our YouTube channel, SyncApps by Cazoomi. Chris, thank you again. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.